G'day and welcome to the Slice for AFL Play. My name's Rog.
And I'm Starr.
And this one, as it always is for the playmakers, for anyone who's ever picked up a footy or enjoyed the game from the sidelines. We'll be serving you a slice of play every week right here on the Slice. Starr, we're not in the suits and dresses this week.
I know, a bit more casual this week. I didn't know if that was going to be our new vibe, like at the Brownlow level of dressing, but I'm really comfy, so I'm happy to be back.
Good. Well, I don't think I could wear a suit 3 times in the 1 week or in the fortnight span. That might be a little bit too much to me, but it is the most exciting time in football at the moment. We've just had the Brownlow medal, which we'll get into shortly, and what a night it was. And it is grand final week as well. The ultimate achievement in football is about to be achieved.
It's all happening.
It's all happening.
The energy in this room alone right now is so high.
The Coliseum, the MCG, 100,000 people. It's going to be packed out and we will witness history. It's probably my favourite time of the year, I think, Starr.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's also my favourite time of the year because it's my birth month as well.
Is it?
Yes, not just birthday, birth month. And it's important to clarify that because, Roger, I'd love to know, are you a bit of a birthday girly or are you a bit more low-key?
Am I a birthday girly? I am a massive birthday person. I live for my birthdays. I'm passionate about it. Every year I do the same thing. The pub where I host trivia at, the Rochester Hotel in Fitzroy, I pack out the beer garden, have all my mates there. My favourite thing about my birthday is that I will have like my footy friends, I'll have my school friends, I'll have like work friends, all different crews come together. They all get on like a house on fire.
Yeah, you like amalgamate all of your friends.
Amalgamate?
Oh, I don't know. Is that the right word to use?
No, probably, yeah, it is. Certainly you had me fooled even if it isn't, but it's sensational use of the English literature there.
And Roger, I'd love to know, speaking of birthdays, we're already going on a tangent here, but growing up, what was your go-to birthday cake? Like, if it was your birthday and you're like, I'm
ice cream
stinging.
cake.
Ice cream cake,
Has
like a Freddo ice cream cake?
Yeah, Freddo Frog ice cream cake. As I've gotten older, I've become a bit of a cheesecake man. But,
yes.
Tell you what, they'll be eating plenty of cake after they've won the AFL Grand Final, and they were eating cake after they won the Brownlow. But for us, there is only one thing better than cake, Starr.
What is that?
That's a 6-pointer. And then something a bit worse than cake is a 1-pointer. Have you got your 6-pointer and your 1-pointer before we get into the nooks and crannies of the Brownlow and the Grand Final to come?
I do, and I have now learnt 8 episodes in that we start with our 1-pointer because we want to get the bad vibes out of the way first, get the low light out of the way, and then we're getting into the good stuff.
Absolutely.
So my 1-pointer for this week is that this time of year is it's quite dangerous in Australia, and that is because it's magpie season. I can see your brow furrowing at me right now.
It is definitely magpie season. We know what Collingwood have done this final series. It absolutely is magpie season. Don't you worry about that.
Look, yes, it is. It's magpie season, but you might also know it as swoopy boy season.
Swoopy boy.
Swoopy boy. Have you ever been swooped by a magpie?
I have. It was one of the worst experiences of my life, and it was worse because I didn't even know that magpie swooping was a thing. Like, I wasn't aware of it. So when it happened, I was taken back.
How old were you?
I would have been 10-ish. 10 or 11, and I was riding my bike in Echuca, and I was
in a what?
In Echuca. So it's a town in Victoria, New South Wales, right on the border. And I just learned how to ride a bike. I was a late bloomer to the bike riding. My uncle Craig taught me, and I was riding my bike, riding back from the river. No helmet on either, I don't think, and a magpie's just come swooping me. I stacked it. I absolutely stacked it, hit the deck and ran for cover. It was quite traumatic. But now that I know it's a thing, you can prep for it.
Well, see, for me, it's kind of double-barreled because I actually have a phobia of birds. Like, not just magpies, not just swoopy boys, literally any bird. I got attacked when I was a kid. It's a whole story. The trauma lives on. So, swoopy boy season, as you guys know, I love my hot girl walks. It is literally half of my entire identity. But now I have to have a layer of caution when I go for my hot girl walks because anytime I leave my house, I could be attacked by a swoopy boy.
Do you wear the helmet with the wire coming out to prevent the swoopy happening?
I don't, but I feel like I'm going to need to get into it, and especially because I'm running outside now as well. I'm like, what is the swoopy boy going to stop my 5K progress? Because sometimes I see them lurking around the park where I run, and I'm like, I don't trust you. Are we good here? I'm not sure. So that's my 1-pointer. And my 6-pointer, I mean, I kind of already...
Just quickly, sorry to interrupt before your 6-pointer. Did you know that birds are direct relatives or descendants, I should say, of dinosaurs?
I believe that.
They're related to dinosaurs.
Yeah.
No wonder you're scared of him. Anyway,
Big
continue.
pterodactyl energy.
6-pointer.
My 6-pointer, I've already kind of soft launched my 6-pointer this week, but it is my birth month, which is exciting. The B-Day vibes. And it's really weird. This year, I feel so different about my birthday. And I don't know if it's just about growing up or maturing, but I think usually I want to make like a big deal about it. Obviously, I still want to celebrate myself in the year that has been. But this year, I just want to like go watch the sunrise and hang out with my best friends. And I've been speaking to a few people about it, and it seems to be a general vibe as like, you know, we age and we get older. It's like we just appreciate different things in our life. And the things that I have valued maybe a few years ago, it's so different to where I am now. So I think it's a nice place to be.
You're officially past it. You're finished. You're a lost cause. You're no hope. If you don't want to celebrate your birthday in style and you want to watch the sunset, I'm a bit worried about your stars.
There's nothing
You're over the hill
with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's not a lot right about it either. But I love it. I'm glad that it is your birth month. I did pick you as the sort of person to celebrate a whole birth month and not just a birthday. But I'm excited to be on the journey with you.
Oh,
I might
thanks,
even get
mate.
you a present when your birthday rolls around.
Oh my gosh.
Probably a helmet with the spikes hanging out of it for the magpies.
And what's yours for this week, Rog?
My 1-pointer. Now, it's no one will be surprised to hear what my 6-pointer is, given the week I've had. But my 1-pointer is bothering me more than you could even begin to know, and it's something that you probably wouldn't understand unless you've lived this experience. But there is no more competitive environment aside from the MCG with 100,000 people on Grand Final day than FIFA between you and your best mate.
Like on a game?
On the Xbox and the PlayStation. And I've never been much of a gamer, but the one game that I've fallen in love with over the years is FIFA. But as I've gotten a bit older, I've drifted in my FIFA playing, and to the point where I don't even have a console now. Like, I reckon I sold it ages ago. I don't play FIFA.
So you just double when you go to your mates' houses?
Yeah, I do. But my best mate, Caden McDonald, AFL YouTube extraordinaire, has moved in around the corner from me. So I go around to his place and we play FIFA. But he plays all during the week. He's a FIFA addict. He can't give it up. So I've been going over, and the male ego when it comes to FIFA is one of the more powerful forces in the history of the universe since the Big Bang's inception. And we play each other, and there was a time where I would cream him. When he moved in with me, I'd cream him every time. But because I have 3 years out of the game and he's been playing every night.
Back to rookie status.
He's creaming me. Like, we'll play 4 games, he'll win 2, we'll draw 1 and I win 1. And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. So my 1-pointer is I've lost all my touch. He's got the wood over me. But I can't quit. But at the same time, I can't get better because I don't have the console and he's playing every night. So I might need to look on the marketplace or the Gumtree, get myself a console and touch myself.
So
up.
hopefully you'll come back with an update for us in a couple of weeks, right?
Hopefully.
And you will have just been slaying every game.
It's really affecting me. You don't like to have him have the wood on me like that on what I pride myself on most is really, really upsetting. But my 6-pointer, Starr, of course it is. It was my debut on the Brownlow medal red carpet.
Yes.
Now, last year I did go to the Brownlow, as I mentioned last week, but I wasn't quite in it. I was on the fringes shooting some fringe content, but I wasn't actually part of the big show. Here I was this week at the Brownlow, the night of nights, the pinnacle of Australian sports just about in terms of ceremonies. And I was there on the red carpet in front of 1 million people for Channel 7. And it does a funny thing to a man being in front of that many people, you know. I was excited heading into the day. I wasn't nervous on the red carpet. But when you have the microphone in your hand and you have a great of the game like Patrick Dangerfield right there and you're chatting to him, it is a sensational feeling. But although, you know, with anything like this, it's not exactly perfect and you think how you could have done it better, I think I'm pretty stoked with how it went and I'm looking forward to what may come off the back of it.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
You killed it.
Thank you. One of the all-time great nights. Hopefully it's just the beginning. And the advice that you gave me last week on the Brownlow on how to operate with the red carpet, how to keep yourself calm, composed when maybe you're starting to get inside your own head a little bit. The bum clenching The bum bongos that you said, clench your bum whenever you're nervous, it paid huge dividends.
I am so happy that my advice helped you. No, but seriously, I'm so proud of you. So what do we think, like, is this the start of a new career path for you? Where do you want to go with this?
I've always enjoyed hosting. I've always enjoyed talking to people, interviews, and I absolutely loved it. I felt at home. I didn't feel like it was too foreign to me. So, of course, I don't want to get ahead of myself. It was, just 330-second interviews. But wherever it goes from here, I'm more than happy. If Channel 7 want to get me involved in more, I certainly wouldn't complain. But, of course, nothing begins to compare to the slice for AFLPLAY Starr. All of that other stuff is nice, but it's not the slice.
Who would be your dream guest to have on the slice?
Ooh, unreal question.
Yeah.
It'd have to be football royalty. I'd probably have to go Patrick Cripps.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have Brandon Flowers, the lead singer of the Killers, or perhaps the whole 1975 would be good as well. If we're going,
you love the 1975.
They're my favourite band in the world. So either them, Paddy Cripps, or maybe Mark Holden. The guy who did the touchdown in Australian Idol.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty random and funny.
Well, we'll work on it.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Starr? Who would you want if you could have anyone as your guest? I was joking about Mark Holden, by the way. The debut judge on Australian Idol. I was joking about him. But who would you want to have on the slice?
Look, I feel like I'm a very predictable person. I'd love to have Taylor Swift on the slice. It has no relevance to footy whatsoever. However, it would be very enjoyable for me.
Do you reckon she could really resonate with the footballing world?
I reckon she would give it a red hot crack. She'd get into it.
Well, speaking of Taylor Swift and my boys in 1975 and the Killers, the AFL Grand Final entertainment is always a huge talking point every year.
Yeah.
And they have nailed it in the past few years.
Who have we had previously?
Last year, Robbie Williams. Perfect. Like, stadium music, 100,000 people know his 3 or 4 biggest songs, belting it out. Angels he dedicated to Shane Warne because we have the Shane Warne stand. It was just superbly done. A couple of years before then was probably my favourite band of all time, aside from the 1975, and that's the Killers. And that was, oh my God.
That's epic.
Literally epic. Like when they played Mr. Brightside when you were young, it was like my heart couldn't have been any more full. But this year, they've rolled with Kiss. Now, do you know Kiss?
Yeah, wow.
I was made for loving you, baby. Sorry, I'm the only Filipino in the world that can't sing karaoke. But
can you give us your best Kiss the?
Of Gene, my best Gene Simmons. But hopefully Kiss do put on a clinic. But if you could pick any act to play at the grand final, and you have an unlimited budget, you can go whoever you like. Taylor Swift excluded.
Damn it.
Cannot pick T-Swizzle. Who would it be?
I didn't listen to anything else. Oh, I feel like the Killers would have been amazing to see.
Well, you can't go one that's already gone either.
Let's go. I forgot that you make all the rules.
Yeah.
For the AFL.
Go on. Just think of one. Do you want to know mine while you have a brainstorm?
No, I want to get. Let's get Beyonce.
Oh, Beyonce would be huge.
Yeah.
See, that would lift the lid off the joint. Obviously, it's a bit hard.
Beyonce, and then she brings out Destiny's Child as a surprise.
Oh, that would be unreal.
She did at Coachella a few years ago. But it's fine. You can do it again.
If I could have anyone, it'd be Kings of Leon.
Oh, Kings of Leon.
Their biggest songs would just, as everyone knows every lyric to You Somebody and all these sort of songs. The joint would go absolutely bananas. And I think that's someone that's actually gettable. You look at someone like a Beyonce or a Taylor Swift or all the big names that you'd want. They're probably struggling a little bit to pay that budget. But if we could get Kings of Leon, they're still a little bit relevant. Or even like a Rufus Du Sol, really pleasing.
That would be a vibe.
Rufus before the grand final. My dream though, if this is unlimited budget, and I know that this was a little bit rogue, bit out there, but if we could bring Daft Punk out of retirement and they have their helmets on and they're playing a DJ set before I run out, that'd be perfect for me.
Imagine if it was Pink doing the entertainment at the AFL Grand Final and she's swinging around the stadium. You know how she does all the aerial stuff and it's just what?
Pink is someone that would do it. She loves Australia. Yeah, she absolutely loves this
She's
place.
doing 47 concerts when she's here. So surely just add the AFL.
That would be perfect. But like we said, hopefully Kiss puts on a clinic and we're there head banging and sticking our tongues out to our chest.
Rog, I think I've got a little bit of grand final fever, but I don't think I've quite thrown myself into the experience as much as you have. I mean, you of course live in Melbourne, and that is the home. Is it the home of AFL?
The home of AFL, though. Well done. You're right. The home of football. It was. It's actually like just about the oldest league in the whole world.
Wow.
Yeah, there is a rich history.
So tell me what is grand final week like?
It stops the whole city in a way that I don't think you'll experience just about anywhere else in the world. The whole city stops. We even have a public holiday for it.
Public holiday?
Yeah. The Friday before the grand final, we all get the day off, and we do for the grand final parade. So we all go into the city, and all the players go down in cars and like on the back of a ute, funnily enough, and they're waving at you, and everyone goes and just watches the grand final parade. And there's like live music there. The whole city literally stops for it. And everyone has a team, which is funny. Like, no matter if your team's not in it, you always have a team that you want to win. But the grand final day itself, it has such like a deep resonance with me. I've been doing it. It's like such a ritual. It's my favorite day of the year every single year. So to run you through what happens, personally, I wake up. So the game starts at 2:30, so you got a little bit of time to kill. Wake up, go for a walk, and I'll always have a chat with Dad. I'll call him. We debrief the whole grand final, everything we think's going to happen. We predict the Norm Smith medalist, who is best on ground in the grand final. Mm-hmm. You predict the first goal scorer, who's going to kick the first goal, obviously. And we run through all of that. And then you make your way to your barbecue. And I always meet up with my same group of friends from school. And funnily enough, I'm the one who has to cook the barbie, and I'm a vegetarian. So, because no one else knows what they're doing, but I actually took a bit of pride in my cooking growing up. So, I'm the one turning the sausages, and you always want to cook before the entertainment starts, because there's nothing worse than when you're cooking the snags, the entertainment's on inside, and you're missing like the concert and whatnot. So, normally there's some backyard cricket going around because the weather's starting to heat up. So, us and all the boys are playing backyard cricket, starting to think about cricket, but obviously excited for the footy. And then after we've had our grand final barbecue, which is normally just snags and burgers and salads and all that sort of stuff, we go inside. There's about 20 of us. We all huddle around the TV, and the energy in the room is just palpable. Like, it's a genuine, like, you could cut the tension with a knife. It is. And then for the next 2.5 hours, you're just absolutely enthralled by the greatest entertainment, the greatest live drama you could ever wish to engage in with your life.
And how many years has that been a ritual with you and your friends? Because I love that. Like you said, it's like, it's the grand final, which is super exciting, but it obviously means so much more to you because of all the other special things that you get to do as well.
Absolutely. And you always know people whose teams are in it. And you're like, it depends on the type of supporter they are. If they're the type to, hang poo on you whenever your team's going badly, then you really want them to lose. But if they're one of the mates that text you whenever your team wins and says, well done, mate, go Blues, then you're really whipping them home for them. So there is a bit of emotional investment as well. And how could I forget, the grand final sweep is in everyone's lounge room across Australia that is interested in the grand final, which is where you have all the names of all the players in the hat. You draw out a name, and that's who you've got for the Norm Smith and the goal kicking, and you all chip in, $5 or just something small, and the winner takes the whole pot. So there is a big romance to grand final day, and I don't know if you're the same with sport. It doesn't matter what sport it is, but me especially with the grand final, where I feel like I can cry. Like I get swept away in the emotion. Like, I see how hard these players have worked. 30 weeks of training multiple times a week through the raging hot summer doing their preseason, the freezing winter going out there, the amount of wet, all of them have been injured throughout the season. They've played through injuries, gets to the final day in front of 100,000 people, the pressure's on, and here they are coming together as a collective, putting the body on the line for each other for the same common goal, and they win that premiership. The emotion on their face gets me in all the right places.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, and that's what it is. It's like thinking about the journey that they've taken to get there and how much this moment means individually to all the players, but also the whole team, and then the rest of the population who care so much about it. It's such a special thing.
It is, and I'm yet to ever see Carlton win a premiership, my team, and I go every week. We've won the wooden spoon, which is coming last on the ladder, 4 or 5 times since I've been alive, and I've never seen us win the premiership once. So I'm very excited for that day to come, Starr. Hopefully it isn't too far away at all. But what I have, when I have enjoyed grand final success, it's not in the AFL, as Carlton haven't yet reached the Holy Grail, but I have experienced it at a local level. And it doesn't really change between AFL and local level. There are some people that think if you win a local footy, Division 3 random grand final, it doesn't feel the same. But to me, you know, it has. It's felt like you've come together, like I said, through 30, 40 weeks of training, you've come together and achieved the ultimate success. It's quite a special feeling.
Yeah, and you've told us some great stories of how you've won grand finals in your time as well. And I think it's all relative to that person and that player, right? Like, you know, it might be Div 3 Rezzies.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm down with
Well
the lingo.
done.
But to them, they're the people who've still put in all the work. And I think the really special thing about community football is seeing everybody still get around it. It's like you think you're the smallest team in the entire comp, but people care so much. So it's a special thing.
Yeah, and obviously there is different stakes on the line, different pressure when there are millions of people watching you on the TV in the AFL. But it's funny, I'm so intrigued when it comes to sport at the highest level and at local level, but about the mental side of the game. The physical is awesome. Watching these unbelievable athletes do things that I could never dream of doing is phenomenal. But I get so engaged and consumed by the mental side.
Yeah.
Where you watch them. And this is someone who is standing 15 metres out. We've seen it all final series so far. A key forward that does this for a living, standing 15 metres out straight in front of goal. And at training, he would kick this 100 times out of 100. But when you got 100,000 people on you and you know how hard everyone in your team has worked, the pressure, you forget the football feels foreign in your hands. It's like you don't know what you're holding. It's like this anxiety gets hold of you and they come in and you see the ones that cope with it and deal with it and thrive under the pressure. And then you see the ones that can't really cope with the pressure and their own head gets the better of them. So grand final day is amazing because you see a side of people that you've never seen before.
Would they would have like sports psychologists working with the teams as well, right?
It's such a huge, this is at the elite level, at the AFL, it's such a huge part of the game now. I've listened to countless podcasts about sports psychologists talking about the work they've done with AFL players and how it's helped them. And I think they are a lot better equipped to deal with it. But at the same time, when you're out there in front of 100,000 people live and then the millions watching at home, you've got nowhere to hide and it can get the better of you. But while that is so interesting, it's also just so exciting to see how happy they are when they reach that holy grail and win the premiership. So couldn't be any more excited for the grand final, Starr. Are you going to watch it this year?
Well, I have to watch it. Come on, I'm not going to miss out. You just hyped me up so much and I can't wait to get into it. I just want to go back to the food for 1 second. So you said you've got a barbecue for your grand final night.
Yes.
Are there any foods that would be a no-go for grand final night? Are you like, no, that's not a vibe? Like, is it all things that you can eat with your hands? Are we bringing cutlery into the mix? Because this is my first footy grand final, I need to make sure I'm across it.
Typically, it's a barbecue. It's salad that no one really wants there, but you feel a bit like a pig if you don't have them there. So you bring the salads out of compulsion more than anything else. But you have the salads there. Don't put too much mayo in the coleslaw. That really bothers me.
You don't want soggy coleslaw.
You don't want soggy coleslaw, but salads, meat, few bread rolls, and happy days are here to stay. You don't need to be. No one's rocking up to grand final day with a spag bowl. You know. No one's rocking up with some herb crusted salmon like I have cooked up earlier in the season.
Are we going crusty bread roll or soft? Or just a piece of white bread?
Doesn't bother me, but you don't want to top up on the bread. The salads and the meat is what you really want to go for. But the food is fantastic, but it's like the grand final, when that is on, no one cares about anything else. It'd be so funny for you to walk into the room and just see these 30 blokes and lasses all with their eyes on their TV watching it and just completely consumed by it. It'd be amazing. But I'm so excited for you to watch the first one.
Well, don't be surprised if you get a knock on the door and it's me.
I hope
Hello,
so.
I'm here for the barbecue.
Can't wait to see what you think about it when we talk about it next week. Starr, I think this might quickly be becoming my favourite part of the slice.
Oh, I love this part too.
The handy point where all of our lovely listeners and viewers can message in and ask us for a little bit of advice.
Yes.
And I feel like we're getting better as the weeks go on.
I agree. And we have covered such a big range of different topics as well, which we love. So please keep sending in your questions. You can email us at theslice@thisisamplified.com. You can DM us on the socials at AFLPLAY or just drop it in the comments if you want to.
Even send a carrier pigeon if you'd like to. Any way you can. But alas, this week it wasn't by carrier pigeon. It was by email. And it is from Gabby.
Hi, Gabby.
Yo, Gabba Gabba. Hey, I could really use some advice on something that's been causing me a lot of stress lately. My school's end of year party is just around the corner. Normally, I love hanging out with my friends, but this year I'm absolutely dreading it because of how self-conscious I feel about my body. I can't help but compare myself to the other girls, and I'm afraid I won't measure up. It's making me anxious to the point where I'm considering skipping the party altogether. Do you have any advice on how to overcome this self-consciousness and build up my confidence so I can have a good time at the pool party? I don't want to miss out on the fun just because of my insecurities. Thank you for your help.
Oh, Gabby.
Yo, Gabba. What are you thinking, Starr?
I'm going to take this one away.
Take the lead. I feel like you're better equipped
to
than
say. Gabby, I'm so sorry that you are having these thoughts and feelings, but please know that you are not alone. This is something that so many people go through, and you're worried about going to this party because you're self-conscious. I can guarantee you that so many other people there will be having the same thoughts and feelings about themselves. And you've already said at the end of that, or at the end of your email, that you don't want to miss out on experiences just because of how you're feeling about yourself. And I think you've kind of given yourself the answer there, my dear, because you're not really going to hold yourself back just because of how you're feeling. And it's so hard to get to that place. But the way that I like to think of it is try to break it down into some little steps. So what are some little things that you can do for yourself to make yourself feel really good? So whether that's about thinking about your self-talk, okay, am I having these really nasty thoughts about myself? What can I do to stop that from happening when it comes into my mind? How can I replace that with a more positive thought? So for example, if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to wear my swimmers in front of everyone because they're going to see me, let's try to replace that with I'm at a pool party. Of course I'm going to be in my swimmers. So is everybody else. And I'm going to be swimming in the water and I'm going to be having so much fun and looking so cute. And then secondly, if you're worried about feeling uncomfortable with what you're wearing, make sure you wear something that you actually feel really slay in. Everybody has their things. I'm sure Rog as well, your boardies or your budgies that you would wear in the water. Everybody wants to wear something that they feel confident and amazing in. Just because, the girl next to you, Sally, is wearing a certain style of thing to the party doesn't mean that you have to wear the same thing. Maybe you can experiment with different looks and different vibes. Something that you might consider as well is maybe you've got your swimmers on, but then you've got a little cute skirt to wear over the top, or an overshirt. So it's just making sure that you give yourself as much opportunity as possible to feel confident. And then lastly, I want you to try and remove your self-image from the whole party, because think about how much fun you're actually going to have, really. And in 10 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, you are not going to be thinking, oh, remember when I looked like this at this certain party. You're going to look back on that memory and you're going to go, remember when I was dancing on the D floor with my besties and I was having so much fun? Those are the things that you are going to carry with you. It's those memories. It's not going to be about the way that you look. So again, I'm so sorry that you are having these thoughts about yourself, but think about how many thoughts you have in a day. You probably, I don't even know what the number is, Rog, but you probably have thousands of thoughts a day, right?
At least 85,000.
And yeah, maybe 84,000 for you, but imagine if every single thought that came into your head, you let that dictate your reality, because the thoughts that we have, they do create our experiences ultimately. So it's about building little skills every day to be able to stop them in their tracks and go, okay, I acknowledge that I'm having this thought about myself right now, but let's gently guide that into a different and more positive direction. And we're rooting for you, Gabby.
I love that. You've absolutely hit the nail on the head there, Starr. Perfect advice. And I think that, and this is something that you never probably perfect, something you're always learning to deal with. But the greatest and most powerful tool you can ever learn to perfect and have in your arsenal is just to not care what other people think about you. And it's something that is really easier said than done, and it does take time. And, when I was in high school, I probably hadn't mastered yet either. But there's two ways of looking at that. The first is that no one actually is thinking about you.
Yeah.
You, in your own head, you think about everyone so focused on you and how you look and what you're doing and how you're acting. But think about yourself, and when you're out and about, are you constantly thinking about how they look or how they look? For me personally, I'm never thinking about how other people look or what they're doing. So, and most people are like that. And the people that aren't like that, the people that are so heavily focused on how you look, which is such a minute portion of the population, they're just not worth worrying about because they're not the sort of person that you want to think highly of you anyway.
That's so true.
If they're the sort of person that are there to judge you at a pool party, they're not worth your time. So the people that are worth your time are the people that aren't thinking about you and are happy that you're there because they love you for who you are. So easier said than done, but if you can stop worrying about what everyone's thinking about you, it'll take you a long way to overcoming this battle that you're facing.
And also remember that just as an extension of what you said, Rog, the way people treat you is always a reflection of themselves as well. So you might be thinking, oh, this person's judging me, and maybe they are, but guess what? That's probably a reflection of how insecure they are about themselves. And that says a lot more about that person than it does about you. So.
And as I am, not that what you're feeling right now is stupid in any way because it's completely normal and so many people feel it. But I remember when I was in high school, I was so self-conscious about my puffy nipples. I have like slightly puffy nipples. And I remember I'd catch up with all the boys and we'd go out to the beach or whatever and I'd be like, oh no, I don't want to get my top out because I have these puffy nipples. Now I'm 25, I look back and I don't even think it, I don't even remotely on my, and it turns out no one was thinking about my slightly puffy nipples the whole time. Like if I told the boys like, hey, how's in high school I was like not happy about this, and all of them were like, we didn't even realize. So more often than not, you'll look back and you'll realize that there was nothing really ever wrong in the first place. So if you just embrace yourself earlier, if you can find a way, you'll be happier earlier as well.
Yeah, and everything is of course easy with hindsight. You know, we can look back on those times now and be like, oh, we were so silly. But Gabby, I can totally relate to how you're feeling because I too have gone through that over so many years with body image. And I think when I was like 13 or 14, I didn't even want to go swimming at the beach. I told everyone I didn't like the water, but in reality, I love the water. I'm a beach babe, you know, but it was because I didn't want everyone to see me exactly how you're feeling, Gabby. And I would go swimming in all of my clothes. And I look back on that now and I'm like, I wish I could go back and just give that girl a hug and tell her that it actually doesn't matter because the way that you look is literally the least interesting thing about you. And now I'm at the beach, I'm in my bikini, I'm running around, I'm trying to do backflips, I'm almost rolling my ankle because I'm really clumsy, but like just challenge those thoughts that you have and you will be surprised at the place that you can get to, Gabby. So
you're a superstar, Gabby.
Big hugs.
Thanks for emailing in.
Do I have to do it like this? Is that the cool way to do it now? I don't think you can do that anymore. Or like this. Yeah.
That's for you, Gabby.
Love you, Gabs. Oh, the emotions are high. We've had all the grand final vibes and we gave some beautiful advice to Gabby as well. I feel like we need to have a big cuddle after this, Rog.
Yeah, we needed, once again, I want the big bringing in. I want the whole team huddle. I never thought about it like that before, but a team huddle is really just a big group cuddle. Yeah. Just like 25 of us lads all giving us a big hug, arm in arm, which is a fantastic thing. But another episode of The Slice comes to an end, Starr. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you tune into The Slice every week right here on AFL Play and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on all the socials at The Slice and on AFL Play.
And I've got nothing else to say because you just did all of it. So we love you and we miss you already. Can't wait to see you same time next week. Bye.
The Slice, presented by AFL Play, is hosted by Starr MCG and Connor Rogers.
The Slice is recorded and produced at Amplify Studios situated on Gadigal land. We pay our respects to the traditional owners of the land and waters in which we record on.